I think it is happening. We are live. Yeah,
Yeah, let's just get it
yeah.
popping.
Yes, I am. Let's do what we do. We like and we share. We like and we share. We like and we share. Hey y'all. Hey y'all.
There we go. There we go. Hey, hey, hey!
Hey, hey, hey,
In the building,
everybody.
in the building, live
We
and
are
in
in
effect, as they say.
the building. I'm all plain. Normally I have like a whole bunch of stuff on my jewelry, but today we gonna keep it free.
Hello,
Okay, ain't
hello.
that the word? We gonna keep it
Free,
free. Well,
free and
everybody,
clear.
we want to welcome you, Ned, my brother, and I, my twin. If y'all didn't know, me and Ned have the same exact birthday. That
Same
he
day,
is
May 17th,
really
baby.
Yes, he is really my twin for real, for real. So I just want to say, welcome everybody into the throne room. It's the fifth week of the month, and we are bringing in the throne room, the
Yes,
mental wellness edition. The
that's
throne
right.
room is the place that we have created for us to be able to purge from our issues, heal from our wounds, and find rest so that we can transform into that which we have been called and created to become. And you all know what that is. That is royalty.
Royalty. All
We are
day, every day.
so excited. Listen,
Yes,
I don't
yes.
have to do any introductions. This is my co-host. So, Ned, how you feeling today?
Sis, I'm fired up and ready to go. I've
Mm,
been excited all day about this
yeah.
topic, right? It's been crazy because I'm gonna be real. We yanking the covers off today, and we're gonna really get into some stuff. And so I'm fired up on the fact that we're getting a chance to really just like talk about some things that I think are really prevalent in today's situations for a lot of us, myself
Right.
included. Um, but the other side of the coin that I'm excited about, it's been a minute since the two of us have gotten a chance to come
I
live
know.
and
I
just,
know.
do our Wonder Twin Powers activate moment
That's it. That's it.
and get live on all our folks. So I'm pumped up and I'm ready to go today. I'm hoping
Yes.
that folks get on and enjoy the content and enjoy
Yes.
the energy that's going to come through today.
Yes, yes. Well, as always, we want you guys to like and share, but we most importantly want you guys to comment. We want you to feel like you are a part of this conversation. We can see all of your comments, all
Yes,
of the stuff
yes.
that you're
Please
doing.
make
We can
them.
see it. So please drop them in the chat. We want to give you a shout out. A shout out to our girl, Blue Note. Welcome to the
Hey, hey, hey,
building
hey.
again. She is blowing up. Let me just tell y'all, she is doing
Uh-oh.
her thing in the Fort Myers, Southwest Florida area, and she is
Okay.
out there. Okay. So I am excited to know this sister girl, and
What's up?
we wish you continued success here from RMN. On to the business, though. Ned, let's
Yes,
get
ma'am.
started. Listen, it's me
Go.
and you together, so we don't have to have that formal introduction and formal
Not
conversation
necessary.
kickoff. It's
Not
not necessary.
necessary.
Right, right. So I've been going through some things. Like
Talk to me.
I'm just yes. Our topic for
Here.
today is free my mind
Mm.
from all the toxic ish. And we going that includes any and everything y'all could think of, right?
Amen to that.
But listen, I've been having to have these moments whereby it's like I'm way up or I'm down or I'm in
Mm.
between. I don't even know.
Right.
I'm here and I'm there. The other day I called my brother and I was like, bro, I was doing so good.
It
I
was a
was
good day. And
it was
then,
a great day. And then all of a sudden I'm just like bawling,
whoosh.
crying. Like, what's wrong? What happened to me?
Listen.
Um, what's going on? And you know, I am grateful first and foremost for my community, right?
Amen.
I had to shuffle through who do I call, and is this something that I share
Like,
with Mama,
or,
or is this something I share with my roadie who Jackie? She ain't here. Shout out to my boo.
what's
You
up,
know,
Jackie?
Jackie, Cookie, or do I call, who in there do I call my pastor, my spiritual mother,
Mm,
or who do I call? And it all boiled down to me calling my brother, and we just had this conversation, like for real, it was one of those moments whereby I got to really come to grips with where I was in life and
mhm.
thinking about relationships, thinking about just why do we accept things that
Ooh,
we
right, right,
that and allow our standards to be swayed when we know that it isn't going to work out in the ways that we essentially want them to, right?
right,
Why do we bend our values and our morals to fit other people into our lives?
right. Or into their lives,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah,
And why we feel uncomfortable doing that. Then we had the conversation about the black woman
hello.
being the most disrespected, neglected, the most, it was deep, y'all. I just want to say that it was deep. But
Yeah.
go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
It's funny because even after we got off our call, I thought to myself, I was like, wow, how many times have we, and I this analogy popped into my head was we find ourselves at the amusement park looking up at
Mhm.
this ride and thinking, oh no, I'm not getting on that
Mhm.
ride. You can't pay me to get on that ride. I ain't trying to get on that ride. And then we find our narrow behind sitting in the seat on the ride, right? Like we buy the ticket. We
Right.
pay for our seat to get on a ride that we know is just going to make our stomachs upset, that's going to cause us to get a headache, that's going to cause us to lose all consciousness, but we do it, right? And
You
so
said
in
a
a lot
whole
of our
word.
relationships, we do the same thing. we
Yeah.
we see it like the writing's on the
Yeah.
wall. You already know, but you still be like, you know what? I'm gonna do it anyway.
Yeah.
Or there's that one component, like but it's blue, and it just that I like blue. And you be like, but that's only thing that you like is the blue. Everything else about the ride is horrible.
And you just compromise
You just
in
compromise.
areas,
It's
even
like,
though
hey,
getting on a roller coaster, you afraid of heights. You know that you just ate and your stomach hurt,
your stomach
and
hurt,
you
and you
still gonna
you know
go,
right. You get dizzy when things go fast. You like,
and
oh,
but yet you gonna go on a ride.
get on the ride
Yeah,
anyway. And
yeah,
and we've jumped on. I mean, I'll see. Let me. Ned has gotten on too many rides in my life that I knew were not good for me, or I knew that was going to cause me to not be who I am authentically. I was going
yeah,
to compromise. I was going to rip away a portion of me to fit in the seat that's not designed for me. But I'm gonna sit in it anyway, and I'm gonna do what I got to do to fit in that seat, even though it may be uncomfortable or it might not work for me. I'm getting in the seat anyway because that's where I want to be at the moment.
yeah. Shout out to
Amen.
our brother Calvin who is
Hey, what's up, my
washing,
brother?
and shout out to my sister friend Abby who is now married. She just
Oh wow!
congratulations to you, Abby and
Congratulations,
Henry, for your new
blessings,
marriage,
blessings.
and we wish you all of the best. We love you guys here on Armin for continuing to support us here, and we just wish you well on your journey. So this is good
Yeah,
for y'all to hear. Look, this is good for y'all to
this,
hear.
this
Okay.
good stuff right here.
So yeah, so Melinda, Blue Note, you girl, you said the thing. It's glutton for punishment. Okay. So
We
so
are.
yeah, let me tell you something, brother Nate. I don't even know where to start with all of this stuff. And shout out to Linda Addison. The lies we tell ourselves to
Hello,
make things make sense, right?
hello, sis. You ain't never lied about that because we do
That
it a lot. We
that's
do a
it.
lot. We
That's
will
it.
talk ourselves out of good stuff to line up with a lie on a whole bunch of bad stuff sometimes. Like, what? We know this ain't good for me, but I'm still going to get in that line to jump on the ride.
Yeah, and it's so true. We all have been there, Melinda. But you know what? The thing is that a lot of people don't realize that they're there until it's too late,
Right.
right? And they find themselves in situations where they have to do these like life changing decisions,
Mm.
or like these life altering movements in order to set themselves free. And
There's almost a purging necessary that you have to pretty much throw up everything in order to cleanse yourself of what you've put yourself in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But look, when you start cleansing yourself, you see this skin, y'all. This is all sun kiss. This me on the
That's
beach
that
doing that
Florida
self
sunshine.
love.
That's
Like
that Florida glow. I ain't even gonna talk about it. I'm gonna deviate right now because I'm still in Jersey and we
that's
ain't got
okay,
that glow
brother.
today.
That's
So
okay. A couple weeks is coming. It's
yeah,
coming.
whatever.
It's coming. Our birthday's coming. Don't worry. Don't worry.
Amen to
Uh,
that.
yeah, but I think that one of the things that I really noticed was the fact that in my own situation, and as I was really thinking about things, I was hearing from different parts of my communities little things
Mm,
that was like signals to me, but I didn't want to take it in because it was like, well, I'm going to see it first. Like, let me see it in order to believe it first. And I put myself through so much pain and heartache and just a lot of turmoil because I felt like I had to see it all and experience it all myself because
mm.
people change, right? That was I
That's what we
have.
tell ourselves.
Yeah, but people don't necessarily change. It's not to say that they don't grow. What I'm learning is that my perspective about them has to change.
Absolutely.
Um, and then inside of that is my decision making about how I'm going to deal with them and be in relationship with them then needs to change, right? Um,
Mm,
I think that what has been most freeing for me in this moment is the self realization, the ugly stuff, right? That I really didn't want to come to grips with about my own personality, about my own love and need to want to be there for people, and what
mm.
that meant. So when I said that I don't want them to count them out, right? So I'm going to deal with this person even though there are a lot of red flags, and even though people might say, hey, we're on a different wavelength, there's different things going on, because I believed in my heart that I don't count anyone out. And I say that from the bottom of my heart because I am that person. Like
Hmm.
people counted me out. Like for real, Ned. Like it was almost as if I was like gonna be this welfare queen. I was gonna be this like broke, busted, and disgusted teenage mother who didn't have anything.
Mm.
Life spoke to her because she dealt with so much trauma and traumatic issues. There was no hope for her,
Right.
and so I tend to lean towards individuals who
There it is.
may be looking in that type, or who may exist in that type of scenario.
Yep.
And so I'm glutton for punishment, as
Yeah, I see somebody.
mommy's talk about guilt and shame keeps us in the sea, and then she's like, denial cannot be
Denial.
happening. It cannot be
It
happening to
can't
me.
be. This can't be going on in my world. And
Yes.
and to that point though, and to your point, Mo, one of the things that we do, and I think I'm guilty of this, and I know in our conversations we've discussed it. I don't know if it's the Taurian in us or if it's something that's across the board with most folks. We tend to take on those tough projects because we nurture the way we do because of where we
Mhm.
come out of, right? So because of some of our
Mhm.
own traumatic moments, because of some of the things we've struggled through in our younger years, when we see that in another person, we immediately think, "Hey, I got through. Let me work with this person to get through." Not realizing in the beginning or throughout the whole process that it requires that person to buy into the process of healing. And if they're not there or they don't have the desire to heal, then they're never going to come out of it. And then you just find yourself pouring out tons of you to help a person get to a place that you believe they should be at when they're like, I'm good where I'm at.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
and we have to start learning how to trust our discernment.
Mm. Oh
Yeah,
my goodness. But
yeah,
if we actually take the
yeah,
time out to know what our true voice is, that's a
absolutely.
whole nother
That's a
conversation.
whole
Hold
nother
on really
conversation.
quickly. Shout out to Wayne, our friend of the
Wayne,
show.
what's up, brother
What's
Wayne?
good, Wayne? Thank you for listening in.
Yep.
But back to
Yeah,
that.
yeah. We have to learn to trust that, and then once we've learned to trust the voice that we all have, an internal voice, then being able to have the courage to stand on that, right? Because
Right.
sometimes we hear it. Like I think you and I discussed this just the other day, that the writing is on the wall for us in most occasions in almost every bad relationship we ever been with. And I say relationships, I don't just mean your significant other. I mean with work or
Right,
wherever,
relationships.
relationships in general. We've seen the writing on the wall at the door sometimes, but then
Right.
there's something in us that says, hey, this is fixable, or I can get through this, or it isn't as bad as I think it is, or you know what, maybe, it'll change or they'll change or whatever. When sometimes we just have to trust that and believe that,
Yeah.
hey, you know what, you don't have to be there, or you don't need to be there in
Yeah.
most cases because it's not
Well,
good for you.
isn't there the saying by Maya Angelou? I think she says, once someone shows you who they are, believe them,
Believe
right?
them.
I think that one of the issues is that for us as a community, and of course, I'm going to say this, we don't say that we are experts in any rights. This is um, our platform that we have conversations on. We are all doing life together, and
Amen.
we are
Right.
opening up this doorway so that we can hopefully create a space that resembles something that other people can imitate. So when you see people out there doing the same stuff, talk about healing challenge and all that other stuff,
Mm,
kudos to them. That's what we wanted to see. But there are, although I am going to throw in here asterisks, we do all have credentials in our own right, right? And so we do speak to certain topics from a professional perspective as well. And
mhm.
so I'm saying that because the next part of what I want to say is that we really lack the as a community, as
Mm,
of Black people in our culture, we really lack the understanding of one, how to be able to understand who we truly are. We aren't who we are, who we truly are. We don't even know
right.
what that is and what that looks like. We have dealt with so many levels of trauma and so much social issues that we have yet to really understand as a group and community of people who we really are. So we should be
Correct.
on the hunt for that, number one. Number two, we haven't really understood how to be able to listen to first self. So when you said discern, a lot of people is like, well, how do you
How do
even
you
know when
do
you
that? Right. How do you?
what is this all about? Like, where do we
Right. Right.
go? Right. And
Absolutely.
so I think that the real tough questions in this is to really look at the fact of when I'm talking about freeing myself from all the toxic ish, and again, Ned, you kind of touched on the fact that we're talking about all things relationships. It doesn't have to be just intimate relationships. It's
Mhm.
relationships across the board. You and if you guys have attended beauty shop and barbershop conversations, there is something so powerful about the knowing and the understanding of who you
You
are
are.
and what
That's right.
you want. Right? Being able to know what it is that you want. Oftentimes, we can speak so powerfully to what we don't want that we really don't focus on what we do want.
Right.
And
Right.
because we're so focused on what we don't want, we begin to petition in what we don't want. So I said, I don't ever want to be with someone who's like my father.
Mm,
Guess what I did?
right.
I've been
Right.
drawn
Right.
to people who are like my biological father, right? So in
Mm,
reality, my focus on saying I know what I don't want really put me in a position to not be able to recognize what it is that is truly there for me. And so
yeah. Yeah.
I would like for us to really begin to have conversations about how do we switch our mindsets to
Mhm.
becoming the thing and being the focused on the things that we do want so that we are petitioning in those things. And then how do we learn the process of what I call listening to the first self?
Mm.
Right. So y'all might say, oh, listening to the Holy Spirit. You might say all these different
All
things that
those
you want to
terminology.
say, right? But I believe that God dwells within me, that I am a part because I've been made in God's image. The thing that I want to be able to tap into is the divine part of me that God has created as in God's image. And so I'm doing my best to connect with that thing and to be able to hear that part of me that was made good, right?
Awesome.
And so as we are on this journey together, how do we begin to do the work of understanding how to hear from our first self? I'm throwing that out there.
All right. All right. I like that. And so I'm with you on the concept and the mindset of first self, right? Because I firmly believe as well that we are created in his image, which means that he dwells in us and he is a part of us and we are a part of him. Um, and so
Mhm.
being able to listen to that or learn to have an ear for listening to that is crucial for us. Um,
Mm.
and there's I guess we can go down the long list, but the short list of how to do that is you have to be willing and able to spend time with God, learning his word, learning his characters, learning how he functions for you and in you in order for you to
Mhm.
be able to have an ear for that. You know, for most of us, we do that with so many different areas of our lives. When you want to be in the world of music, you listen to different genres of music and you pay
Mhm.
attention to how beats are made and you pay attention to, how to lay down tracks and all of that stuff. We take the time and the attention to it to be able to learn how to be a great musician or be a great singer or be, great in the music industry. The same thing applies, that same type of energy applies to wanting to hear from that inner self, that one voice that you should have. And so you have to be able to take the time and put the energy to that. Um, that to me is the best way to become aware and be comfortable with that voice, right? And I use that
Mm.
word comfortable because sometimes some of us have an ear for it and hear it, but it becomes such a challenge because we get afraid of what the voice is saying to us to do because it's making us step out of our place of comfort. It's making us step out of our place of normacy, and so we run from it or we hide from it. Let me say this disclaimer. Please know that I'm not talking about nobody but Ned right now.
Y'all, we
It-
don't talk about people on
yeah,
here.
I don't talk about nobody personally yet. Not yet.
Yet.
But I do know
Lord,
that
we
for
not.
myself. Yeah. For myself, it was difficult because, like, as God was speaking to me, I was in this place of fear because I was like, I realized that what he was asking
Mm.
and where he wanted me to stand was a place that was really uncomfortable. And it meant that I had to deal
Mm.
with Ned and all
That's
my
it.
mess and all my stuff. Because the minute that I started doing that, it then opened up doors for other stuff. And it opened up doors for me to be able to, in the right way, touch other people.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and then in doing that in the right way, I believe that we start dragging or conversating and connecting to the folks that are like minded.
Yeah. Shout out to our sis Varnell who is
Hey,
listening
hey.
in. Thank you for listening in. Our brother Calvin, he said that sometimes we feel it's easier to work on someone else who is broken than to
Mm,
work on our broken self. That's a whole nother word. You know what I found, brother Calvin, is that it becomes a distraction, right? To be able to focus on someone else is a
mm,
distraction from our, as you said, Brother Ned, fear from wanting to be able to deal with where we are in life. And then it is also because we don't want to oftentimes face the reality of the fact that we are disappointed with ourselves and what we are and how we are
see how we
showing
are.
up in the world, right?
Mm, yep.
And so we have to do the work of self examination in order for, and mommy, you're so good at this. Like, she's so good at this. Like, it's like sitting with yourself and having these really deep moments with
Hmm.
God, like you said, to be able to hear your first self. And I think that is a little bit more than just reading the word, though. Right. And so
Yeah.
I'm gonna push up on that a little bit because
Hmm.
I hear preachers say, "Oh, y'all need to just go read the word and you're going to get
Yeah.
everything from the word." And a lot of people are saying a lot of
Yep.
things. Okay. This is now, y'all. Please forgive me because I know I have a lot of people who are from the faith walk who are on this podcast.
Hmm.
So we're just gonna throw it out there. I believe in God. I believe in all of the words and all that good stuff. However, there is a component of this that extends beyond the Bible.
Absolutely.
There were days where the Bible did not exist, and
Hmm.
it required for us to be able to do the work alone and then to be able to do the work together so that we can work out our issues and work out who we are together within community. And I believe that that's why it's so important for us to be in community. what I found out is I wanted to hide all of the stuff that I was going through and didn't want nobody to know. Shut up, Ned. Shut up, brother. I didn't want nobody to know nothing that was happening with me
Mhm.
because I already knew it wasn't what was up. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like, let's just be honest about it. Like, it wasn't what was up. But once I began to expose things for what it was, I was able to free my mind.
Amen.
So
Amen.
I was keeping myself in the dark. I'm
Yeah.
putting it out there. How many of us are really keeping ourselves
Well,
in the dark with all the things that we are experiencing?
and the crazy part about those moments, Monica, and I agree with you absolutely. I think so many of us are willingly thinking we're putting ourselves in a dark place or we're keeping ourselves in the dark. But the reality of it is as folks get to know you, they realize that you're not in the dark. You're really exposed. You're really showing what's going on in your behavior, in your character, in your walk. And other folks are looking at you like you crazy because you thinking like I got this hidden, and they looking at you like, baby, you just don't even know. Old folks used to say that to us all the time, baby, you just don't know.
Mm.
I see all you.
Yeah, and the reason why you see all of me is because you've been there, done that. So
Yes.
I got to tell my brother Simon, it was like I already know.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like I already knew. You know what
Already
I'm
knew
saying?
what was going
It
on.
was, it was, and then when I got to just unveil more of what was going on with me,
Mm,
the more I got to know that I wasn't alone and that what I was experiencing, my brother had experienced as well, right? Or
right.
my sister was going through or had experienced the same thing as well. And then that got to deepen our relationship even more because now it's like yet another thing and a reason why God connected us. I
That's right.
wouldn't know the extent to why God wanted me to connect with my brother and the way that it would be if I was to keep everything to myself.
Correct. Absolutely. Absolutely correct.
I would miss out. We would miss out. Both of us would miss out. So I say that to us to be able to say, in our hiding from and our trying to keep things closed in, we we do ourselves a disservice, but we also
Mhm.
do the community that God has sent us to and for us. We do them a disservice too,
Correct.
because we
Correct.
then prohibit our ability to grow close because the power of our testimonies.
That's right. That's right. Listen, iron sharpens iron, right? And the reality of iron sharpening iron, it means that at some point my iron had to be dull. And it had to need to be there
Talk
had to be
about
a
it.
need for it to be sharpened. And so if I have a need to be sharpened, it's important for me to line up with someone else who might have a need to be sharpened, and we support each other through that sharpening process, right? Because as
Mm,
I bang my thoughts, my feelings, my transparency out to you, and you do the same thing on your end, we become a stronger and a sharper blade, right?
yeah,
And the only way that happens is if we just basically we like you said, we expose ourselves, we share, we talk, we give our testimonies not as a moment of shame, but as a moment of encouragement that hey, yep, I'm going through right now, but guess what? I know that you got my back and I got yours, and we can push each other forward and through some stuff. Because, like you said, you don't find out the commonalities until you put it on the table.
right.
You realize, like, wait a minute, you know what? We ain't that far off from each other. And the stuff you're struggling with, either I have or I am going through as well. And so let's support each other through it.
Yeah.
And I think that's important as we grow.
So Brother Calvin said it's not being selfish to focus on self-care, it's smart and healthy.
Mm,
And what I want to say to that is I have been allowing God to show me me. And so what I'm learning is that
mm,
self-care is not just smart and healthy and it's not just a necessity. It has to become a way of life. It has
yes.
to become a way of living. And
Mhm,
so when I turn self-care into a way of living, God has been showing me that I then can love my neighbor as I love myself because I've been doing the work. I
mhm.
fulfill the commandment in my ability to live through the understanding that I live in self care.
Mhm.
I
Well,
think that we miss this opportunity because we're so busy
Right.
going. And social media, unfortunately, has us thinking that we're supposed to be on this busy
Ooh,
block doing. And please, y'all, if us over here are RMN make y'all think that y'all have to do, we
my apologies.
apologize. Right? We apologize in advance, right? Because
Absolutely
this is where less is more, right?
correct.
And that is in that quiet space. Mommy, this is where I need you to go ahead and put in the little scripture things and all that stuff. It is in the
It's in
quiet
the quiet
space,
place.
right? Where we will be able to find ourselves and find our Christ-like character. So you had said earlier that when we, in order for us to hear and to be able to learn how to discern, we have to sit back, we have to do the work with God, and we have to pour ourselves. Yes, but I think it's knowing why is that important and what it is that we're working on. What
Mhm,
is it that we're looking to hear as well, right? Because
mhm.
some people are going in looking to hear for that prophetic word that we hear from a church leader, or the word that says, I'm going to bless you with 2 houses and 5 loaves and 6 fishes and all that extra stuff. But we don't understand that really discernment is about what are the ways that God would really want us to be able to develop our character.
Yourself.
How,
Right.
yeah,
Yeah. And
that's what we're here for.
and that's exactly what it's about, sis. When we get to a place where that work that we're talking about and that I mentioned earlier isn't about anything other than self. How am I going to be better? How am I going to grow? How am I going to develop from where I once was, you know, to where I believe God is calling me to be. And then again, it's that same analogy of, putting in the work, not just to be well versed in scripture, or not just to be, this
It ain't
scholar
even about
and
that.
theologian. It's about the relationship, right?
Yeah.
What kind of relationship are you building with God? Because if you build a healthy relationship and you make that your life decision, not just something that I'm doing because someone told me it's the right thing to do, but it is a life changing decision I made to be a better person for me so that I can be the best person that God can use. Then you find yourself hearing differently
Yeah.
because you'll operate differently. Because now what I used
Mm.
to hear, or what I probably was used to condition myself to hearing, is muted because it's been replaced with
Mm.
something that's a little more tangible, a little more heartfelt. And so, as opposed to, you know, hearing all of the gossip, all of the backbiting, all of the negativity, and all of the downtrodden stuff, I'm listening and I'm hearing something that's allowing me to focus on how do I do
Mm.
better today? How do I make myself better today? Uh, even as much, I heard someone say this recently, that like getting up in the morning and just having a moment of affirmation about, what, today's going to be a good day. Period.
Mm. Mm.
Period. And walking in that changes your whole thought process of the day, as opposed to waking up and saying, "Oh my God, I'm so tired. Oh, I just want to go
Mm.
back to bed. I don't even want to do today."
Mhm.
The rest of
Mhm.
your day is going to be sluggish. It's going to be just filled with like, it takes a lot to get you out of a place of being just beat up on. So much easier to start the day off again, even if you don't feel it. If you speak it, then it becomes real to you. And I think that's the piece that we got to start learning to do more. And the more we do that, the closer we get to God, the more we start functioning around other folks. And real talk, the less those folks who we don't want around us will be around you. Because real talk,
Come on. Come
you,
on.
when
Say
you
it
start
again, brother.
talking differently, some folks don't want to be around you. It's the same with most of
Mm.
us. You eat around a party and they just like, oh my God, here they come again with that. Oh, I don't want to listen to them.
Mhm.
Well, if you're talking words of affirmation, you're talking life, you're speaking, prosperity, not just in finances, but just in living, then all of a sudden you start finding that those folks who are negative are like, oh God, I can't take her no more. I can't be around him no
Yeah.
more. And then now they're away from you. And then the
Yeah.
folks who think like you are the ones who are remaining. You've
Yeah. Yeah.
sifted the wheat.
From the toe. From the
Hello.
toe. It's funny that you said this thing about the affirmations. And mommy and I was having a conversation the other day, and she made a comment to just now. Requires humility and our seeking to engage in relationships
Mm,
correctly for the benefit of the self and the other.
wow.
What I want to say about the affirmations piece is that as we seek to really change our mind, right, and
Mhm.
how to free our mind,
Free our mind.
I one of the things that I really struggled with was the identity that other people put on me from
Mm,
their own toxicity, right?
mm,
So being in a very toxic relationships had made me see myself less than what I was, even though I knew I was more than what was being portrayed. And then there were
mm.
times that my character was compromised in dealing with those individuals because I would do things like, y'all don't judge
Go
me.
on, girl.
If you
Talk about it.
if you want to judge me, I don't care, but we take the covers
Talk
off
about it.
over here, okay? So there are moments where, let me just say, oh, they say something like, "Oh, you're a slut." Okay, well, if you're gonna call me a slut, I'm gonna act like I'm gonna show you what a slut is, right? Like things
Mm,
like that. Where it's like, "Oh, you want me not to act like this, or you want me to do this," then those things I would internalize it and behave in the way that wasn't even true to myself,
right.
because I was allowing someone else to put onto me a label and an identity
Mm,
that had nothing to do with me in the first place.
right,
And
right.
the reason why that could happen in the way that it did was because I was too busy being busy
Mm,
and not taking enough time to live in love, which is
amen.
now self-care, right?
Self-care, right.
And so when we talk about that affirmations piece, something that mommy said was, when I turn around and I actually am doing the work with God, I realize that I got all the affirmations I need. Uh, I'm
So right there.
head, not the tail. I was made good. I'm made in the image of
That's right.
only plans for me to prosper, not to fail. Like when she started listing them out, I was like,
Like, okay.
where I been at?
Yeah, right, right.
Like I know this. Like I really do. I can rattle you off scriptures, but see, that is the issue. The
Correct.
issue is that we come into certain religious spaces, or we come into contact with certain communities hoping to feel inspired. And it's not about the inspiration, but what are you going to do to change the inside of your mind and your heart? The renewing of your mind, having the things written on the tablet of your heart that are of God, so that you can live the life that God has planned for you. So
Amen.
his ways are not our ways, right? But we also have to understand that God's divine plan for us has nothing to do with the divine plan that we put out there for
At
ourselves.
all. Nothing at all.
And we think that it's supposed to align. And then we get upset and depressed with ourselves when it doesn't meet our own expectation.
That's right.
And so then we walk around with our head low, feeling like, woe is me. But we haven't taken the time to sit down and ask the manufacturer,
Hmm.
how do I work? Where's the
Right.
instructions to
Where's
this
the
thing? Look,
right, right.
tell me all
Where
of the special
how do
things that I
how
need
do
to
I
know
start
about
this
me.
car again? You gotta go to the manual, you gotta talk to the person who created the car. And we're no different than that. We have to go and talk to the person who created it.
And
It doesn't work without it.
this thing about freeing my mind is so important to me. And I
Mm.
had to add to that, from all this toxic ish, is because we are
Yeah.
we
Tell it.
are inundated with the BS. We are
Okay.
inundated, and you know what? We have no one to blame for it but
Well, ourselves.
ourselves.
Because we bought it hook, line, and sinker. Or like I used to say to folks, we drank the Kool-Aid.
And people will say though, Ned, that this some things are genetic. Some will say some things, DNA wise. Some people will say, hey, it's the system and all that stuff. But God said that we have an ability to
Listen,
heal thyself,
self.
physician. So, and to
Absolutely.
me, that means that I have the ability to take myself, despite what everybody else is doing, looking at the
Listen.
water, waiting to be healed, that I have the ability to be able to look at myself and say, hold up, wait a
Self
minute,
be healed. Let me change this.
let me get me right
Right?
so that I can walk away from this
Listen.
thing and go do what God has called me to do.
And
We have
and
that.
and do it well. Right? And I
Yes.
think that's the thing that's so damaging for a lot of us. And I agree with you. I think that some of us purposely carry some of our generational curses like it's a badge of honor. Like we just like, hey, this is who I am, and I'm gonna always be this. This is my, hey, you don't have to,
Shut the
right?
front
We
door.
are, we are, as you said, we have the ability to heal ourselves, to deliver ourselves, and to free ourselves from situations that we've chosen not to be a part of anymore. And like you, like I tell people often, like if I was to truly walk in the footsteps of my daddy, I wouldn't be on this show right now because I'd be somewhere doing
Mm,
something stupid that didn't make no sense, abusing some woman, trying to do something. I can't even begin to walk down
mm,
the list of things that my daddy did that would have
mm,
shamed me in my walk today.
mm,
But it was a decision I made to say, I'm not going to do that. Right.
mm.
And it wasn't like, hey, I woke up and was like, nope, I'm going to be the opposite of him. I just knew that there was things in me that desired more. And I knew
Wow.
that I couldn't accept the less.
Brother, you said it right there. What we do is we oftentimes think about all of the negative things that have happened to
Mhm,
us. We think about, what happened with, because there's some stuff
mhm.
with the women in my family, right? Like there are some
All
things
of it.
about the types of men that they attract themselves to, right? But as long as we're focused on the negative parts of that or focused on someone else, we can never put the full focus on what it is that we need to do to pick up our mat and walk on by. Okay?
Hello.
So what I would begin to say to anybody who's like, I'm feeling stuck in my mind,
Mm,
in my heart, in my spirit, in my body, in my
mm,
being, right? Is the first to be able to say, look in the mirror and not in the window.
hmm.
Look in the mirror and not
Amen.
in the window.
Amen.
It
Because
begins
that's
with
where it
us.
starts. That's where it starts.
Yeah. And when we allow ourselves to be the clay on the potter's wheel, that means that we don't have time to focus on all of the other stuff that
Mhm.
everyone else. I might be of the same clay, but it doesn't mean that I'm going to be made the same pot.
Hello. Hello.
I'm focusing on me to the point whereby I'm going to allow God to do what God needs to do in my life. And again, this is open to anybody. So we're not apologizing about loving God and who God is to us, but
That's
we're
right.
just saying whoever God is and however the divine shows up for you in your life is to be able to say, look at me. I'm going to look at me
Yeah.
first, and yes, I might be the same type of clay. I might be that Indian clay, that red,
That
you know what I'm
red clay.
saying? That red clay,
That
that
red
extra
clay.
unique clay. And yeah, we all come from the same little group over here, but I'm not
Right.
going to be created for the same purpose. I might not even be created with the same type of
Mm.
extra mold
Hello.
utensil. I've been uniquely created and designed to be able to carry out the divine will of God, right? Whatever that might be.
Whatever it
And
is.
my sole purpose right now is to seek and to search out who that thing is, what that thing is. So I'm going to go to the owner's manual to say, why did you create me with the handle when you created everybody else with the
Right.
little knob? You know what I'm saying? Well, I got the handle and
I
everybody
have
else
the
got the
command for
knob.
everybody
Right.
else. Right. Right.
But what we want to do is, and it's funny that you said it, using it as a crutch. We want to cry black sheep. We are the black sheep
Oh
of our
God.
family.
Whew.
No, you just made different, and that's all right.
For a different purpose.
And maybe it was a part of God's plan that the rejection comes so that you can do the thing that you need to. We glad that you glowing and growing. You supposed to.
Hmm.
But allowing ourselves to work on ourselves and to be able to see ourselves through God eyes will allow us to let go of the offense, allow us to let go of rejection, to allow us to let go of all of the things that hold us captive in our minds and our bodies. And
Wow.
the body part is so important because let me tell y'all, I do got
Woo.
beautiful skin. Y'all see this, right? This is not, no, I'm not conceited, right? But I'm just saying. But let me tell you about my
Stop
skin.
having your little Florida references. I
I know.
see.
Listen, but my skin will show if I'm going through
You're stressing.
anxiety or moment.
Hmm?
I start getting like these like rashes all down here, like up here.
Listen.
I start turning red. I'm like, what in the heck? I can't even hide it from nobody.
And most of us don't realize that our body rejects that energy, right? And it does it in a lot of different ways, whether it's through, acne, or you'll break out in hives, or your skin looks blotchy. Like, you are allowing yourself to be pulled away from the natural process of what God has created you to be, the normacy that God desires for you, when we start taking on and carrying components that we're not meant to carry. And it
Mm,
shows. And you're right. And so that's why you hear people say to certain individuals, "Oh my God, you're glowing."
hmm
Normally, those are the folks who freed their mind, and they're operating in this place that's pure for them.
It's a process too,
Right.
because it's not like, oh, I'm freeing my mind and everything is done. No, I'm in
Oh,
the process of. But let me just tell you, the things that I'm doing right now, these are the things that I need to do for me at this moment, and I'm
amen.
leaving the rest up to God because and God is pleased with what I'm doing. And so
Mm.
although I might feel like I'm lacking in one area, let me tell y'all, I be feeling like I be lacking. And I feel like I be slacking. Like, how is this possible? And where I feel the deficit, God will come in and promote me to let me know it's okay. I got you.
Hmm.
Because you're doing the work, you're being obedient. And that's what God says, I will be with you even until the ends of the earth. God will go to hell for me.
Hello. And have. So why
Right.
would I doubt that he wouldn't do it again?
But why won't we go there for ourselves?
Mm. Mm. Wow.
You will be willing to
Wow.
go to war with God for somebody else,
Who
but you
don't care
won't go
about
to
you.
war for yourself. Right.
We'd have battled many a moment in time for somebody who could care less about us, and given an opportunity, they kicking your back in or stabbing you in the back, one or the other. But we won't
Lord, please
war
fix
for
it.
ourselves. Wow.
Please fix it, Jesus. And God, please fix him. And Lord, I'm praying.
Right.
And I'm not saying don't pray for your brother and your sister who's struggling. I'm
Of
not saying
course.
that. We pray
Absolutely.
for them, but our focus is not on what they need to fix. Our focus is on what we need to do to get right in the oneness. Mommy says it's beyond knowing, beyond believing. Will thou be made whole? Come on, mommy, preach that thing from a distance.
Hello.
We
There it
here
is. That
with
was the
you.
sermon right there.
Melinda, she says, our blue note, she says, we have to be even more aware when we have those generational curses because of their propensity to reenact themselves in
Ooh,
us.
and they do. If we aren't aware, they will. You know, I, I
I'm
tell
good. Go ahead.
I tell
Go ahead,
people
brother.
often, and I used to say this even to my students, it is so crucial to have what I used to call, I still call them mirror moments, where you just take a real hard look in the mirror at you, and you have to say with truth and honesty, this is messed up and you need to do something about it.
In
This
the
is
mirror,
wrong.
not the window.
Hello. Absolutely. Absolutely. Because you need to be able to say, to have those truths with yourself. Like,
This
it
isn't
doesn't
me.
work.
Yeah,
and I'm not
this
doing it
isn't
anymore.
me. This isn't who I am.
Nope.
And although it might have seen itself and you know what?
Mm,
Let me I'm throwing this out here and I don't want to throw it out here, but I am because um I did something really bold because there is a a sexual demonic presence that loomed over a certain part of my family.
mm,
And because um I did not desire for this thing to infiltrate my children and what was going to happen with them. When I tell you, I'm reading Honey the Circle Maker. If y'all want to know about prayer, I will pray the house out. People don't even it's so funny because people don't even know that I know how to pray. But I can pray it down, right? But the thing about it was I focused so much on making sure that that thing was not going to be in as a presence. I was going to war and spiritual warfare with this thing
mm,
that it ended
mm,
up inside of my house because I through another back entrance because I was so busy focused on it showing up this way that I didn't realize that it was showing up that way.
mhm,
And so I'm making this a point because we oftentimes again are focusing on the wrong thing.
mhm.
And instead of us taking the time out to really focus on the part of ourselves to say, God, show me the way, show me, show me you, show me
Mhm.
and you in community and in our relationships with one another to in order for us to allow God to work through those things, we're trying to force things to happen or not to
Or
happen.
not to happen.
We manipulate life in order for it to become our
Yes,
way.
Lord.
We can't manipulate it. It's going to
We
happen
try
one
though.
way or than
We be
another.
trying. We be trying though. I don't know why
Mm,
we think we can do it, but we do try.
mm.
Yeah, yeah.
Mommy says, in this present moment, there are new possibilities and opportunities. Trust
Mm,
that this is a fresh opportunity to take a step in the direction I desire. God is awaiting us and has next steps. I hope I did reading that justice for you, Mommy. She taught me well, but I hope y'all got that. Yes.
you
Y'all
read
read
it
it.
well.
It's on the screen.
You read
Yes.
that
Yes.
well. You read that
Yes.
well.
Thank you.
And
I,
mommy, thank you because that is
yes.
definitely profound. Because I think that a lot of us have to understand that God is awaiting us to
Hmm.
get ourselves together, to clean, you know, to cling to Him, and to be in the position where He can work on those little areas that we tend to think we're hiding, or those
Hmm.
places where we refuse to bring to the forefront, or be clear about, because we think like, oh God, He's never going to love me because of what I've done. Well, He loves you despite what you've done, and because of what you've done, He loves you even more. And
Hmm.
so, yeah, yeah, mommy, you're absolutely right. The opportunity for a fresh start is always something worth looking forward to.
Yeah, yeah. We're getting ready to end out with our last. It says from Brother Calvin, it's
My
a
man.
process that becomes a lifestyle. The
Yeah.
glow happens when you are aligned physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually.
Mm.
I'm going to asterisk the word in there, aligned,
Mm.
because we talk about this word aligned, but I don't think that we really understand what it means to be aligned. And
Yeah.
we don't understand the process of getting we're fearful of the process of
Absolutely.
becoming in alignment with God because that means that we have to submit and to sacrifice ourselves to become one with something that
Right.
we are not aware of. And so it becomes unsafe because it's unfamiliar.
Mhm.
But God says, yea, though I walk through
Walk.
the valley of the shadow of death, the shadow,
That's right.
I shall fear no evil. It isn't what it actually is. It's just a shadow.
That's right.
And we could miss out on what God has for us and we can take on things that aren't what God has for us
Right, right.
because we are scared of the
A shadow.
shadow. And we're
Yep.
too busy walking around with the mask on to be able to see the way, our way to the valley, so in the green pasture, so we can lay down and rest
Lay down and
and let
rest
and
to
let God do
by
the
the
work.
still waters. Yeah, we have to get beyond that. I think that you're absolutely right. Our character flaw of being fearful of the wrong things has been a detriment to generations of our families, where we are constantly operating in the shadows because we're afraid to step out into the light. We can't do that as children of God. We can't do that as a culture of folks and a people who want to live for and live by God. And I'm always saying to folks, you have to trust your process. You know,
Mm,
each of us have a process that we must go through, right? Can't run from it, can't dodge it. You can't skip around it. You have to go through it and work your process and trust that God's with you through it, because
yeah,
he's never going to put you in a situation that he's not going to help you get through.
yeah. Mommy says aligning is adjusting,
Hmm.
surrendering, dying to self daily, yielding. And my that
Yielding.
why, the yielding is my why. So if you guys catch us on tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Eastern time on Win Women Network, Mommy and I normally go into the Aspire to Higher show to have some real conversations about the journey. And yielding is for the letter Y. It is being able to yield to all of the things that are happening in life so that you might be able to rest because life is exhausting, right?
Hello.
And allow God to give you what God already has positioned and planned for you.
Yeah.
Listen, our brother, Ned and our brother, he is our brother,
Your
my twin
twin.
flame, and I want to wish everyone a very happy and fruitful and joyous rest of the week. We thank you for taking the time to
Absolutely.
tune in and
Each
listen
and
with
every one of
us.
them.
The time flies when we are in the room having fun, right? Taking the covers off and getting naked in front of all of y'all. We hope that these conversations are ones that are impactful, ones that get you to start thinking about how you're seeing yourself, and
Yes.
what your passions are, what plans are ahead for yourself, so that you might be able to better pursue your purpose, um, and have the balance and peace that you so desire in the life that you are living. We are grateful for each and every one of you.
Yeah.
Please tune in next week as we kick off our Mother's Day month going on.
Yes.
It is a beauty shop
Thank you to the mothers.
conversation is happening and it's
I
going
must see.
down
I
up in
must
the
see.
beauty shop. Yeah, yes. And then, of course, visit us always on Win Women Network, on the Passion and Purpose channel on channel 1, for the Aspire to Higher show, every Thursday at 6 p.m. And
Mhm.
then we also have the following week, every other Wednesday, our brother Ned is in the barbershop having conversations with the fellas about how to
Yep,
do this thing called life. We love y'all and we appreciate
absolutely.
y'all. What you say? You want to say something before we close
Nope.
out, brother?
You have it. You have it. You've put it all on the table
That's it. Well, we can't wait to see you guys all tomorrow and next week.
next
Bye
week.
bye.
Take care.